So it's Friday night, and as all relatively young people do, I'm going to build a shelf.
Where is it going to go?
It's going to go right here. You can see we had some holes. We had some floating shelves here before, but they were only like that thick. And I just got some food containers for the spices I have more of. So I want a shelf where these can fit comfortably. Let's make sure we have the measurement correct. I've already marked on both sides where it's going to go. And looks like 30 and a half on the wide side. And oh, look at that. It actually might be the same. For context, our house is a 120-year-old farmhouse, so as it settled, nothing left was left square. So these pieces are actually going to become our shelf. I've already marked down the depth they need to be, and it'll be 3 sections, all the same width, so I can set my trimmer to my saw to the same length. I've also written over here what length the supports need to be. Just because I didn't have any paper, so I used pre-processed paper.
Pre-processed paper.
So let's take this out to the garage and get everything cut.
I chased myself out.
Make sure it's solidly there.
Now I'll either show how you do things, or I might show you cutting off a limb. We'll see.
Well, that'll be good content. My husband wants to thumb. Hashtag idiots.
I'll be able to show the hospital, the doctors, and be like, this is exactly how he did it. This is what his thumb used to look like. You can rewind and you can rewind it and see what it used to look like.
Yeah. Alright, so first let's do the supports. I have this piece of scrap I've been taking stuff from. So first I'm going to measure how much of this I need, and then I'll just cut it in half on the table saw.
Do we need any other protective things other than our glasses?
I should be wearing safety glasses, but I just wear glasses.
Should I have?
You can have safety glasses.
Am I in danger?
Not on that side. 30 and 5/8. 30.
I'm helping.
Yes, you are helping. These are actually left over from some stairs that we built, so I know they're sturdy enough to support some spices.
Because we are very spicy.
I'm going to cut it a bit wide, because we can always trim it down, but we can't add more.
That's fair. And a good lesson.
This is going to come off for now. Boop. This is going to come up. Make sure it goes all the way through the wood block. I'm just going to do this by hand. I want to make sure that it cuts straight enough. So. So now we're going to bring this back. So first of all, we're not sawing right now, so power off. Alright, so
good.
This is not quite 2 1/2, it's more like 2 3/8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up at 1 1/4 here, so that what it cuts out of the middle is going to basically make both sides even.
I back up again.
You just have to adjust it. Set up your saw 4 times, cut once. It actually doesn't look about. Check and double check. Lights on. Test. And loud noises. Now we know our two are of equal length because they're the same piece of wood we just cut in half.
Alright then.
We have some more cuts to do, but those are our supports.
And these are the shelves themselves?
These are the pieces of shelves themselves. Now, two of them together doesn't do it, so I'm going to have to cut 3 chunks of just over 10 inches
To make it one.
to make it work. I was going to stain these the same stain that we used on the cabinets, but I can't find it, so we'll do that later or we'll paint it.
I mean, we have more of the
I
turquoise.
need the stain. Do we have more of the turquoise? The
I
blue?
think so.
The deep, deep blue?
Maybe.
Do you know where it is?
I think in the pile of thousands of paints that I just found today. I think it's among them.
Alright. Is the red among them for the living room? We're just going to keep talking.
No, I think that might be in the extension area.
Yeah, true. I should check back there. Maybe it's back there. Alright.
Yeah.
So,
Alright.
we're not using the saw, so turn off the main power to it. Safety first, except wearing goggles, which I'm not doing.
You got glasses. That's better than nothing.
Glasses are like goggles.
They're really not. They're really, really not. But, you know, it's better than nothing.
4 3/4. So, according to this, 4 3/4 is there. But according to my tape measure, 4 3/4 is there. I'll look at this later and be like, man, I do not look like a good woodworker from that. Hopefully the saw is more correct than my line. I'll trim these down more if I need to, so I'm not worried about them being too wide. And that just lets me know if I'm about on track. Yeah, that looks right. And you'd think, oh, you're done now. But no, because these are a little too deep. I need to trim off, like, just that much. So, stay tuned for that. And now we can see if I've possibly done this properly. A boop. We should basically cover the supports. If there's little gaps, I don't really mind. They're not optimal, but oh, look at that. Look at that. There's a little overage on the supports, and that's fine because there's a little bit of tuck-in on the cabinet. So let's go assemble this. So as you can see, measurements were good and correct. It's in there nice and tight. I don't even have any screws in it right now. I need to lower it a little bit, but I also need to make sure it's level across the board. So I'm going to show me lowering it. I'm also going to show you a trick. Now, when something's crammed in like this and you want to get it down, the best thing to use is a hammer. But you don't want to leave hammer marks in the wood. So grab another scrap piece of wood, and that allows you to just, let me move this real quick before I shake it off there. That way you can, there we are. I can see the line now, but barely. Alright, I can see the line there, but barely. So, in theory, this is a straight shelf. Perfect. Look at that. Middle, that one's a little high.
Very close.
Very close. It's within tolerance. It's a little high over here. But over here, it's perfect. It also could be warped a little bit because it is jammed in there, so. But, because I'm a crazy person, even though we're just putting spices up here, there shouldn't be anything like cinder blocky. I'm not only going to put this into the back wall, which I know is plaster. I don't know where the studs are, so that's not a good hold. So I'm also going to go in through the sides of the cabinet with screws and washers to disperse more of the weight. Because this will hold in the wood will pull against the screw pulls against the washer, which disperses the weight to more surface area so it doesn't just tear out of the sides of these cabinets. Because these are not full wood walnut cabinets, this is just particle board with a finish. I'm going to mark where this goes here. Then we're going to take it out. If I can take it out. Yeah, it's good in there.
You got it.
Cabinet for this?
That was my next question. Would you like me to take the tea out?
Let's take the tea out before I drill into the tea.
So we are now prepared with emptied cabinets.
Mostly empty cabinets.
Emptied up.
There it goes. So, let's do the same thing over here. I'll move it forward a little bit because what I learned on that cabinet. And the holes aren't big enough for the screw. Like, you can't just slide the screw in and out of there. That would defeat the purpose of the screw. You want to leave enough so that all the threads of the screw have something to grip. So you want something that's just the width or smaller of the inner core of the screw.
So they're more like guidelines.
Exactly. So this way the screw doesn't get confused about where we want it to go. Alright, now that we have...
Because then we'd be screwed. Alright, sweat.
Now we're putting this back. And we're making sure it's where we want it again. Look at that. That's beauteous.
I don't know.
Because the idea is, when that's in there, and that's in there, you should be able to slide these.
That looks nice. I feel like that's better.
I think I was gonna build in more give, but no, that's good. That's good.
I kind of like it though.
Yeah. This might have been what I planned. The problem with
subconsciously.
Well, the problem with the way my brain works is that I have so many plans. It's hard to tell which one was the one that I wanted to implement in this moment.
Fair. I also like that it's high enough that the heat from the stove isn't going to bother anybody.
Yeah. No, it shouldn't catch any of that. So now, let's throw in the screws that hold that in place.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, since we've been building the house, we have a lot of spare screws. Don't want to go through the knot. Just putting in where I'm putting them. There. And they don't want to be too close to the edges either because you don't want it to split. There. And there. And there. It's horrible for your drill heads. Don't do that. There we go.
You've been doing a lot of do as I say, not as I do.
Well, there's good practice, and then there's I've been building this house for 5 years. I'm out of patience. And you might say, are these too many screws for some plastic that'll have oregano in it? And yeah, it probably is.
But it'll be sturdy, damn it.
Yeah, I'd rather build something that you have to actually physically knock down than accidentally, like, overspice everything I cook one day.
Very spicy. Also, you could, use this shelf for other things if you ever changed your mind.
How much tea does one woman need?
All of it. They're for different things.
Empresses in China drink less tea.
If I need to calm down versus if I need a pep versus, it's just, they do different things. Don't judge my tea.
There we go. Now I got it.
I have to take your word for it.
What? Oh, it's so good back here. It's nothing's going terribly at all. Oh, I'm gonna do. Bob Vila's in here, and he's saying, "Oh, what a good job you're doing." It's in. And that ain't going anywhere.
I wanna see. I can vaguely.
It's way back there.
Close enough.
Yeah. So now we put on the front one, but here's the extra fun part. Because you don't just want it to be level like here. You want it to be level here, so things don't spill.
Right.
So grab one of these, and I will act like I have 42 hands.
I can help if you need.
42 hands.
But like you married an extra pair.
Right.
I have hands. I can help you.
You want to help?
Yes.
Let's see.
My tiny little hands.
Up a little. Hold it there. Hold it right there. You have it?
Maybe.
Hold it. That's where the bottom should be. That's where the front should be. And now we slide it. Switch! Now we know where the front should go. So I'm just going to finish tracing it out on the wood. Put in our guide holes for the washer. Let me double check this real quick. So this one's a little looser up here. It's not as tight as in the back. So there's a slight difference. I broke it!
You okay? Everybody okay?
I'm fine. And that is in the bubble.
In the boo-boo.
In the bubble. There. Yes. Okay, good. Alright, when I'm holding it correctly, it's right. And this one, we are going to use the washers because there's not a whole lot to that. I don't want it to fall off at any point. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to drill it till the point comes out. See? So you can... And that way, as I'm putting this in, I can basically spear it where I want it to go. Right about there. And then we're going to gently drive it in so we don't split the wood. This is fun.
Should I hold something?
No, it's fine. I'm going to start it from over here. Do I have a smaller one of these? I could. I'm going to use a hand screw. Give me a moment. So for this one, because it's such a tight space between here and here, I abandoned the electric. With this one, you can see it's trying to twist on me. Little at a time. It's okay to make slow progress as long as you're making progress. The Bob Ross of fucking up your cabinets. Oh, that does save me like 5 minutes. Alright. And now we'll see if my other measurements were correct. Abadoo. And this should just drop into place. It's a little bit of a gap, but overall... Sorry.
Gas.
Nothing we're going to put in there is going to fall between, and it all fits.
Yay.
So, we're going to paint and or stain it to match everything else. As you can see, despite the fact it's going to be holding like maybe 2 pounds, it's not going anywhere. And most of the weight will be at the back. So, with this, just to make sure nothing tips forward. So, yeah, nice. I might be able to put a little LED light here for a little more illumination. It's good.
Yay.
There's some, I want to sand these a little smoother. But yeah, I think we're in a good place. Oh, hi there. I didn't notice you. Set up the camera, turn on the lights, tell me to start recording. We found the stain that we use for our cabinets. It will be a somewhat different effect via Kuaz. When we stained on top of this, it was stain on stain. So it had a darkening effect on this wood. So this wood will still be lighter. It'll probably take on a somewhat greenish hue because of the yellowing of the wood compared to the ebony of the stain. It looks like that's how it'll turn out, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see. You can always paint over stain if you don't like it. It can be blue, it can be red.
Might just take a couple coats too.
You can just take a couple coats.
You want to hold up the stain?
Well, are they paying us?
Sure. Okay, fair.
Hey, if you want me to show your logo, send a check. All right, buddy? I got bills to pay. I got a mortgage on this place. All right? It's a good stain. I'd recommend it if you know who you send me.
Put it down. Put it back down.
I'm supposed to be wearing gloves.
No, it's fine.
I'm being a bad example.
It's fine.
And here is the finished shelf with some sugars and baking supplies upon it. Stuff that I like to see how much I have before I start a cookie recipe to find out I need to run and get more brown sugar. You can see the color. The ebony turned out nice, but it doesn't quite match the cabinet, so I might still paint it. We'll see. But super secure, nothing's going anywhere. And I'm thinking, now that I have the space down here, I can build a big old spice rack for everything else.
I have that little shelf there.
Yeah, but I'm talking like a big old spice rack, like every spice at my fingertips.
What about, is there a way to do something that hangs from the shelf you just made?
I probably wouldn't.
Fair. Okay.
It's easier to use this as a shelf and against the wall than to put more weight on.
Fair enough. Touché. So yeah, that's the shelf.
That's the shelf. We built it in like an hour and a half, not including the staining process.
Cool.
So that's building a shelf.
Rock on.
Okay.